It's a media blitz of mostly bad news, and let's take a look at which sectors are most likely to be affected by the election with Fred Katayama, Reuters' own. All right, Fred, let's start off with this media blitz. AOL, the one shining bright spot here.
Surprise, amid bad news.
A surprise, shocker, beat on profit and revenue. Fourth strongest ad growth in 7 straight years.
It's an ad growth story. Their ad revenues are up 7% in the U.S. And what's surprising is ad revenue grew from the search engine that no one uses. Do you use it?
No.
I haven't used it in years, and I used to work for the company. But it's ad.com sales also increased revenues. That sells ads across the property. So we're seeing signs of a turnaround for CEO Tim Armstrong's
They're
company.
still having trouble, though, with the big, lucrative display ads. One reason why they purchased the Huffington Post.
Right. So there are still issues to be addressed, but at least
Yeah.
we're seeing some signs of a turnaround on the other half.
Okay, speaking of good ads, Discovery had some bright ad news, but third quarter earnings missed, and they cut their 2012 revenue outlook.
They did. In fact, their ad revenues for the U.S. is up by the same percent as AOL, up 7%. But the problem was they had lower distribution revenues in the United States, also slammed by fluctuations in the currency. And so as a result, net down 10%. They missed Wall Street's estimates, and they're lowering their full-year revenue forecast.
All right, stocks down 4% today. They also have OWN, Oprah's network, where they're actually saying that they're ahead of the game in terms of break-even cash flow. Yeah, trying to sign some big names like Tyler Perry, get some comedy in there, liven it up. All right, let's move on to satellite and Dish. They're ironically up 1.5% today, but third quarter loss due to litigation costs. They were in this massive ongoing lawsuit with what ended up being AMC with Voom Networks. Yeah.
We're talking about $158 million in terms of losses for the third quarter because of that lawsuit. It's been going on for 4 years now. It's the former unit of Cablevision called Voom, so Vava Voom as far as that one's concerned. But analysts say also it's their core satellite TV business that remains weak. They really need their own broadband offering.
Well, to that point, DirecTV also down 2.5% today, losing subscribers, and they had a dispute with Viacom, which blocked Nickelodeon and MTV for those subscribers there, so that didn't help. All right, moving on to Cablevision. I think it's a similar story. Are viewers going to cut the cord or drop the dish, as is the case with the satellite providers?
Similar in terms of losing subscribers. They lost 10,000 in terms of cable TV subscribers. But we were talking about broadband earlier and the importance of that. Cablevision gained 28,000 internet users. So that's sort of offsetting a bit of it. However, the company did post a third quarter loss, and investors are worried about Sandy, the impact of Sandy. A lot of their customers live in the Northeast, and so the company's working to restore cable TV service to a lot of people who lost power altogether.
All right, they're down 6.5% today. Speaking of Superstorm Sandy, I have some bleak forecasts, although not of the storm kind, fortunately, for a couple of companies here. Express Scripts, they're the pharmacy benefits manager, down 14% today. Analyst forecasts for 2013 were too aggressive, they say. This raises questions about the success or lack thereof of their purchase of Medco Health Solutions. Where are those synergies? Where are those cost savings? Huge question mark there. Okay, also moving on to Zillow, the real estate website. They're down 20% today. They're forecasting their fourth quarter revenue below analyst estimates, and they lost one of their largest display advertisers. We mentioned display advertising before, how important that is. It really brings in the big bucks. Foreclosure.com, Zillow started their own competitor. Foreclosure.com said, bye-bye, no more display ads. Okay, moving on to the hotspot with Fred, and as I do, check out the snaps, remember, at the bottom of your screen for more headlines of the day. All right, Fred. Here we are at the hot spot, and let's talk a little Office Depot and Office Max, because their sales have fallen, but they've managed to offset that.
Right. And this is important to look at the office retailers because they're seen as a barometer of the economy, especially for white-collar jobs. Right. And as you said, same-store sales fell for both retailers. The problem was weak technology sales, especially PC sales, as people gravitate more towards tablets.
Right.
But having said that, both companies did a great job in managing their costs, cutting costs, and so net profits were actually up. And the Depot beat by a nickel, Max beat by 2 cents.
All right, Office Depot, up 16% today. Office Max up 10%. Yeah. Good as there. Let's move on to Fossil. They cut their current sales forecast after reporting weak third quarter revenue.
They're that fashion accessories maker. The problem is they have a lot of sales in Europe. Europe, of course, is having a lot of problems economically, so they're blaming the weak sales on Europe. And also,
I've heard that about Europe.
A lot of companies love to blame Europe, don't they? And now you got the Greeks on strike today to blame on top of all this.
Yeah.
But also, they've been hit by the stronger dollar, and so as a result, they've taken down their current quarter revenue forecast down to 12% growth from 16%.
All right, Fred. Let's go back to the market monitor on this very important election day. A lot of action today. Dow's up. Yep.
Yeah, the broad market, S&P 500 up 1%. If it manages to close up it'll be the second up day in a row. A lot of investors want to get rid of this election uncertainty, which we'll hopefully get at the end of today, this being election day.
All right, let's look at some of the sectors likely to be affected. Walk us through here. Healthcare, of course, obviously vastly different.
Yeah, views from from both sides. You got XLV, the Spider Healthcare ETF, up 0.7%. Basically, Obama's what's been called Obamacare by Mitt Romney. Romney's been critical of that, but Obama says, hey, I just copied your health care plan in Massachusetts. We even have the same advisor.
Right.
Healthcare is one of those sectors.
Right.
And we don't see it anymore, but defense is also, it's flat right now.
There it is.
But Romney wants to boost defense spending by $2 trillion over the next decade. That's a big difference with Obama.
Financials, Romney less likely to tax the rich, and of course less regulations on Wall Street.
Dodd-Frank has always been a big issue, especially with Obama.
And then the macro, the fiscal cliff, what will happen there?
People are going to be looking at that now once elections are over.
Right. Ben Bernanke, will he stay in the position? Romney wants to get rid of him.
Out. You know what that means.
He may walk on his own. Yeah.
If that happens, stronger dollar, less chance of QE.
All right. You going to go vote? Did you do it already?
I did it already. I'm all set.
All right. I'm on my way now after the show.
All right.
All right.
Good citizen.
That's right. Fred Katayama, thanks so much. Remember, follow us today on this election day at our Twitter feed, at Reuters Insider, and on our YouTube channel, Reuters.com/ReutersTV. I'm Lisa Bernhard. This is Reuters.